Viewers, the suspense over the fate of Kerala Story 2 has finally ended. The Kerala High Court has now lifted the interim stay on the release of the film. The Kerala Story 2 goes beyond. The film was originally scheduled for release today, but legal hurdles prevented that. Now a division bench comprising Justices S.A. Dharmadhikari and P.V. Balakrishnan set aside the earlier order passed by the single judge bench of Justice Bechu Kurian Thomas and has cleared the release of the film. The single judge bench yesterday had temporarily halted the film's release. That was in response to a petition filed against the film's censor certificate. A 15-day stay was imposed and Justice Thomas had directed the Central Board of Film Certification to examine the representations filed against the film. The censor board was also pulled up for issuing a UA rating to the film. Court had said CBFC didn't abide by the guidelines. The producers then swiftly moved an appeal against the order. The division bench convened a special sitting at 7:30 p.m. last evening to hear the challenge, and at 4 o'clock, the verdict was delivered, vacating the interim stay and clearing the way for the film's release. Let me straight away go across to my colleague Arpita, joining us live right now for more on this. Arpita, there were legal hurdles for Kerala Story Part 2, but now a green signal, we can say, has come from the court, from the division bench for its release. What next? When is the film likely to be released now? It was supposed to hit the theatres today.
Well, Heena, the division bench has put a stay on the single bench judge's order that they had to stay the movie release. Now, it is definitely a green signal and it is definitely a relief for the movie makers because now they can decide when to release the movie because from the division bench they have gotten a green signal to go ahead with the release. Now, it needs to be seen when the movie makers will decide to release it. It can be any time. Now, while the division bench was passing the order, it has clearly said that the written petitioners, in the written petition, the petitioners have only watched the teaser and the trailer. So on that basis, we cannot really say if the petitioners' complaints are serious or not. So that needs to be seen. And also, when CBFC issues a certificate, the body will have definitely considered all of these issues, right. And that is why it doesn't really make sense to put a stay, is what the division bench has pointed out. All so right. Now, with this green signal, now it is a big relief for the movie makers, and now they can decide when to go ahead with the movie.
All right. Thank you very much, Arpita. Appreciate you joining us with your inputs on this story. Let me now go across to my guests who are joining us live right now on Blueprint Explosive Exclusive on this debate. We have with us Sri Padmanabhan, Kerala BJP spokesperson, Rahul Ishwar, who is an activist, Advocate B.N. Haskar, who is a political analyst, Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. Also joining us is Khalikur Rahman, the Congress leader. Good evening to all of you, gentlemen. Appreciate you all for joining us here on Times Now. Rahul Ishwar, to you first. You know, increasingly we've seen this happening, that movies face legal hurdles and then eventually the release date, gets postponed. We've seen it happening in the case of Vijay as well in Tamil Nadu. Now in the case of Kerala Story Part 2 as well, it has happened, with the Kerala High Court. I mean, what is really happening? I want to understand from you. Then, of course, we'll go into the merits of this case specifically.
Two submissions. First of all, we have to balance between creativity and sensitivity, liberty and responsibility. Every society finds a middle ground and a fine balance between these two. Creativity is supported, whereas sensitivity is also maintained. Second, I'm a Hindu right-wing activist, but let me humbly say this. There are some scenes in this that are very disturbing. See, such tone-deaf extra aggression should not be promoted. And it is demonizing our Muslim brothers and demonizing my state of Kerala too. See, you can take a movie. I'm a Hindu right-wing activist, so I know the sentiments of the right. There are left, but there needs to be some sort of sensitivity in this. So I hope demonizing Muslim brothers, mothers, demonizing that there is a huge conspiracy happening, or regarding Kerala Story 1, 3 girls were trapped and 3 girls had a very unfortunate experience. It was astronomically exaggerated to 32,000. That's the reason why we have to find a rhyme and sense of these things. And I was thankful that even BJP President of Kerala, Sri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, went on record to say that he won't be watching the movie. Those people who want to watch the movie can watch the movie. At least that kind of a response from every spectrum is needed, because this is extreme violence and gore that should not be promoted.
I think a couple of interesting points you have raised, and let's take those points across to other guests as well. Let's talk about Kerala Story Part 2. Sri Padmanabhan. Now, the question really is that when it comes to films, there is already a censor board that's in place. But the court came down heavily. You know, when the matter was being heard, when the clearance was not being given, the court came down heavily on CBFC also, that did give the film a UA certificate that, you know, the procedures were not followed properly. I mean, who will censor the censor board? We've had these debates in the past also, but then there is a role that censor board needs to play. Not everything can't be going to courts.
See, the censor board is an institution which is established by law. The censor board sees the film, watches the film, and they give a censor certificate. Only those films with censor certificate can be exhibited. So now, after seeing the film, they have given a censor certificate. Now, the single bench, unfortunately, without seeing the film, came to the conclusion that there are some objectionable scenes in the film. I don't know how. And now the division bench have stated that the censor board has seen the film and given the certificate. Now, let us see the film. Without seeing the film, you cannot come to any conclusion. What is there in a teaser? So the law established a procedure, and that procedure has to be followed. I admit that the High Courts and the Supreme Court has got the right to stay a film. But once there is a censor board certificate which is issued by the censor board, which is established by law, which has seen the film, how can you say that film is bad, a movie is good or bad, some scenes are objectionable without seeing the film? How can you come to that conclusion? I don't understand. So the division bench has rightly said that let the film come out, let it be exhibited. And if tomorrow it is found that there are objectionable scenes, we can proceed. The law is there, the courts are there.
But Advocate
so
B.N. Haskar, for a very long time, even filmmakers were not very keen to screen the film for the court.
No, let me see the Honorable High Court. The division bench considered this matter with two aspects, nothing into the contents of the film. In fact, the division bench heard the matter in detail regarding the maintainability of the writ petition. The writ petition was filed as a public interest litigation which has to come before the Honorable division bench of the High Court. Instead of that, it has been heard by the single bench. So the maintainability was questioned by the petitioners, so the filmmakers side, and that maintainability was heard by the Honorable Division Bench and ordered such an order there. But the Article 21 of the Constitution's right to reputation is the question here, and that aspect has not been considered. And as per Section 6 of the Cinematography Act, there is a revision petition has to be filed before the censor board. That is pending, that has to be considered. That is the main question which is arising in this matter, because the Cinematography Act is considered to be the paramount factor in censor board. So that has to be considered before the censor board instead of telecasting the film in Kerala, because it is we come to know that the protagonist in the film which deliberately attempt to create communal disharmony in the state. That is the only intention behind the state, and this film is itself, it shows that it's a propaganda film, and according to the filmmaker, claims that these films are from the true life. But if you come to Kerala, if you come and visit the entire Kerala, where at least one incident can be taken and chosen by the filmmakers, that is an important question, because we are living, as Rahul also very well know, that we are living harmoniously in this country, in this state. Nothing is here as the filmmakers are claiming. So, so this is a very condemnable film. So it has to be banned by the central government. That is my opinion.
But now, Khalikur Rahman, a green signal in a way has been given by the Kerala High Court only, the division bench. has given a go-ahead. Now it's upon the filmmakers to decide what happens then to the sentiments of the people, because there are people who are feeling hurt because of what we have seen in the trailer so far.
Yeah, good evening, Heenaji, and good evening to all my co-panelists, to all your viewers. And I would like to commend my dear friend Rahul Ishwarji for his stand. And I really appreciate, because he comes from the state of Kerala and he knows the ground reality, and whatever is depicted and portrayed in the film is against the very character of Kerala. And the trailer, what is trailer? Trailer is the USP, which every film producer tries to market it. So they've shown the gist of the film in the trailer. So I think, the division bench is allowing the film again to be shown. I think that definitely will be challenged. And earlier, stay by Justice Thomas, wherein he has very rightly questioned the censor board, and also with regard to the film without and another thing is because the trailer in fact is the evidence in itself for the court to put a stay on it, actually. So I think there is no need for the court or anyone to watch the full movie. And apart from that, even the producers and the makers have also shown very less interest in showing the movie.
Well,
so the reason is because they knew very well it is going to incite the communal discord in the state of the Kerala, which in fact is known for its communal harmony. It's known for its
there's a very thin line here.
Character.
There's a very thin line here that we're talking about. Of course, there is an issue of creativity, and also there is an issue of sensitivity that Rahul Ishwar also mentioned in the beginning. Professor Atikur Rahman, how will you like to respond?
So this incitement in the name of creativity has become so normal that you make a very, very, a film which is targeting a particular community and a state, then obviously it will be going to the courts. In the meanwhile, the damage has been done. Now, are we not too much relying on the CBFC? Even the courts are relying on the CBFC.
But then CBFC as a body has that particular job to do. Its role is to, ensure correct things are cleared. I mean, then why do we have a body like that?
Exactly. So we have a body. We have a body. Earlier in the day, we have seen that CBI has been lambasted by the courts in the Kejriwal case. So are we not relying too much on the CBFC? The CBFC today is the cage parrot, I would say.
Okay, that's a big charge. That's a big charge coming in from Professor Atikur Rahman. Of course, in this case, for now, there is a temporary relief, we can say, that has come for the filmmakers of Kerala Story Part 2. But like some panelists mentioned, that it could further be challenged. So we'll see what happens. But for now, I would like to thank all my guests for joining us with your perspectives on this big story from Kerala. Heading into a short break.